In this video, I want to talk about how we become so heavily addicted to somebody highly narcissistic. When we really start to feel that tug, that back and forth, what the narcissist does and why we react the way we do. We can't talk about a trauma bond if we don't talk about the first stage of narcissistic abuse, which is love bombing. Now, I am fully aware that not all narcissists are created equal. Some narcissists provide large, grand gestures during love bombing, fancy, expensive, exotic trips. Some spend a lot of money, some sweet talk you to death like you're in a romance novel, and some don't really do that much at all as far as love bombing is concerned. For most of us, though, we do get placed on a pedestal by the narcissist very quickly. We are highly regarded and protected, made to feel like we are wonderful, special, unique, whatever it is we feel like we are missing in our lives, this person seems to provide it absolutely perfectly. They're just the last piece in the little puzzle. This person gives us everything that they have in the early stages. Most of us respond in kind by giving everything that we have right back. For a lot of survivors, myself included, love bombing was absolute pure euphoria. I had never felt so treasured in my life. And all of a sudden, here comes somebody who not only wanted to treasure me, but wanted to tell me how valuable I was pretty much every second of the day. So we get it. Love bombing, we're all built up, feeling wonderful. And this causes us to become completely smitten with this person. They seem to feel exactly the same way about us. The only issue here is everything is good until naturally it isn't anymore. It's not good anymore at all. So devaluing slowly begins to creep in over the first few months. Those subtle jabs at your self-esteem where the narcissist says, "Oh, I'm just kidding. I didn't mean it. Don't be so sensitive." And those seeds of insecurity are planted in the back of your brain, left to fester over time. This right here is where the trauma bond forms, because now we're completely addicted to this person because of the love bombing phase. We've had a few weeks or months of wonderful, amazing behavior, but now suddenly we're being insulted and we're being teased and we can't seem to do anything right. There might be physical violence, but now we have this attachment to this person. And that's what the trauma bond is, an attachment to somebody who is causing you trauma. Now that devaluing has begun, we start to see what's called positive intermittent reinforcement. It can also be called intermittent punishment and reward. They treat us badly, and sometimes we can't understand why, but we know in our minds and in our hearts that, things will start to be good again. Things will be like they were before if we just kind of wait through this. We make excuses for the narcissist. We make excuses for why we stay. It all boils down to we've become so addicted to the love bombing and to this person, we can't bear the thought that we might never have it again. So we justify in our minds that it's worth waiting for. We'll get it again. We just have to wait. We're trained to stay because in true narcissistic fashion, when we are at our weakest, at our lowest, we get a reward. When we say we've had enough and we try to leave, we'll get a reward. We get sweetness, romance, whatever it is, whatever they think will make us stay, that's what we get from them. If you need to talk about a narcissistic relationship you're currently in, or maybe you're still having trouble getting over, you can email bookachatwithjess@gmail.com to get one-on-one chats and coaching with me if you feel you need that support. Fear keeps us in this place with this person far longer than we need to be. Also, the hope of things returning to the way they once were. I said so many times in my own relationship with a narcissist, what the fuck is happening? Why can't things just be like they were before? There was nothing wrong. Now all of a sudden things are different and everything is wrong and I don't understand. Of course, asking this aloud, I was met with the classic narcissistic answer of, well, as soon as I changed, things would be okay again. As soon as I worked on myself, I needed an attitude adjustment. As soon as I forgave him for everything bad and stopped being so negative. I just needed to hurry up and get over the cheating, the lying, the thieving, and everything would be good. I was the one keeping the relationship down. I wouldn't forgive and let it go and get positive, so on and so forth. The trauma bond forms after this punishment and reward system is repeated a few times. Punishments from a narcissist are things super obvious: physical violence, silent treatments, ghosting. There can be others. Some lash out, yell, scream, narcissistic rage. It's a very real and horrific thing. Rewards are given, again, when you're at your weakest point and they feel like it's safe to give you something. They can't possibly build you up too much. They can't risk that happening. So they will give you that when they feel it's safe to give you those rewards. It will also be done. You will also be rewarded when you act accordingly. If a narcissist lies to you, for example, and you know that shit is a lie, but you pretend like you believe it, maybe you just don't want to have a fight about it, whatever the case may be, you might actually see the narcissist perk up and get happy. They might even choose then to be sweet or nice to you. They got one over on you, or you're choosing not to say anything. They don't really care which one, but you're subsequently rewarded for believing the lie or not bringing up the fight. They get happy, so you're rewarded for just looking the other way. We keep waiting, and things are one day going to be the way they were before. And no. I learned a long time ago that people in situations like all of us were in, or maybe some of us still are in, we make that really dangerous one-day wager, which is something I've talked about on the channel over the last couple years, but I haven't addressed it in a while, so I want to talk about it now. The one-day wager. We tell ourselves, surely things will be better tomorrow. I can stay one more day. What's one more day? Things will change. They will realize they're hurting me. I can do something to make things change. I can do it. I'll do all the work by myself and I'll make something happen. What's the harm in it, right? It's just one more day. It almost seems reasonable until you turn around and realize that you've waited one day for several days and dozens. And for myself and so many others, I gave it hundreds of days. Some people give thousands, and nothing comes of it. We're bonded, we're addicted, and nothing is ever going to change. And this is part of the process in every narcissistic relationship. A narc needs you to be hooked on them. It gives them one hell of an ego boost, number one. And furthermore, you are so less likely to leave. You're hooked. You want nothing but this person and that wonderful euphoria you got at the beginning of the relationship. They will torture you with ideas. They hate you. They despise you. Some even flat out tell you, look, I can do better than you. So, just sit down, shut up, and be lucky I'm with you because I can do better. And then without warning, you're wonderful and amazing again. There can be no rhyme or reason to it. You become extremely confused. Gaslighting comes into play. They're isolating you. They push you away and pull you close, back and forth. It becomes incredibly confusing. I've said in other videos that the discard causes excruciating pain. I know because I was discarded, and it caused me to become, frankly, suicidal. It's agony that still years later, I really can't put into words. I felt like my heart and my soul and everything else about me was just gone. I was just like an empty shell of a person. Discarding is terrible. Devaluing is also not a fun thing to endure. Months and years of being treated like you are just as replaceable as any other inanimate object in the world. Violence, fighting, cheating, gaslighting, triangulation, jealousy, isolation. Being devalued is seriously not for the faint of heart. But I still hold true to my own personal belief that the love bombing is the most damaging, the most sinister of everything happening right there, because that is where it all starts. It's impossible to fall as low as we do through the rest of the relationship if we were never placed up so high to begin with. They truly build us up just to devastatingly knock us down. Things go from fairy tale to nightmare. The love bombing is absolutely intoxicating. We would do anything to get it, and I know so many of us can relate to that. I I don't want to say I put up with it, but I allowed myself to be treated in a way that never should have happened. And this is where it all starts right here in love bombing. It truly is the beginning of the end. If you have thoughts on love bombing, devaluing, trauma bonding, anything else, you can leave them down in the comments. Thank you so much for listening. Please like, share, and subscribe if you haven't. Have a great day, survivor, and take care of yourself.